You would know the things to look for in a letter. You will know the things to tell your recommenders to include. You will know the things that will make you stand out in a letter of recommendation. So stay till the end and get all the juice. All right, let's jump right in. Hi, welcome to Winie Student World. My name is Winie. Today we're going to talk about the characteristics of a strong letter of recommendation. So you're applying to schools, you're applying to programs, and they have asked you for 2 to 3 letters of recommendation. What are some qualities that will make them stand out and make you a candidate that they would want to bring into their program? All right, let's talk about that. At the end of this video, you would know the things to look for in a letter. You will know the things to tell your recommenders to include. You will know the things that will make you stand out in a letter of recommendation. So stay till the end and get all the juice. All right, let's jump right in. The first thing is you want a credible writer, right? You want a person who is respected in your life or who has had a significant impact in your academic or professional life. Who does that look like? Your professors, your teachers, your supervisors, people who have been, in charge of a team that you're a part of, even if they're from like social organizations that you're a part of, like maybe churches or mosques, or other places that you go to off work hours. As long as they have seen you in a capacity where they can talk about who you are as a person, that means your personal traits and your personal qualities, or your educational traits and qualities, or your professional traits and qualities, as long as they can speak credibly about that, they are looked on favorably. Now, you don't want to bring somebody who doesn't have that kind of authority in your life, because in the letter, you want them to be able to state, I have worked with this person in this capacity. I have seen this person in this capacity. You don't want anybody who will just be wishy-washy on how they know you or how they relate to you. Now, of course, when you are meeting people, the more credentials they have behind their name could also be looked on favorably by the admission committee. So when you can and when possible, get somebody who is credible in your field. Get somebody, if for example you're applying to a PhD in biophysics, a professor of biophysics would be perfect or amazing to speak about your ability to do well in a graduate biophysics program. So that's an example. The next characteristics of a recommendation letter that you should have is a personal and relatable letter. Yes. Now, when I read letters of recommendation that are vague, like this person is a good student, they are passionate and determined, they will do well in your program, and that's really the meat of all that person said about you, it's not enough. You want letters that are personal. I met Blessing, for example, when she was a first-year student in microbiology, and I taught her introduction to microbiology. Blessing stood out in the way she carried on her class project. Blessing stood out in the way she led her peers in group projects. Blessing was the best writer in our class. Blessing led teams in the lab. I watched her grow into a microbiologist as she spent 4 years or 5 years at University of Winie. Something that is very personal. Or I have worked with Chike for the past 7 years in the capacity of the supervisor. Chike is always on time. He carries out his projects well. When there are specific examples, you want them to include it. For example, last year, Chike was part of the team that worked on a project for Coca-Cola, right? And this is how Chike carried out that job. These are some qualities he brought to the project, and these are some things that made him an asset to the team, personal and relatable, so that when the person that is reading it, they can imagine you, Blessing, or you, Chike, in their program, studying with them, working with them. They can picture those traits that are being outlined as who you are and what you have exhibited in relation to them. That's one way you can take advantage of our humanity and human psychology and behavior to your advantage. The next thing is you want your letters to express support clearly and articulately. You want those letters to state without mixing words, I support this person's application to the graduate program of biochemistry, or I support Nkechi's application to study philosophy at the graduate level. I believe she is an excellent candidate for your school. I believe he will be an asset to your program. Those are some things you want explicitly stated in your letter. So after all the long story of where they met you, how they know you, what your qualities are, the things that you do, you also want them to state without any doubt in my mind, I recommend this person for admission into your program. They could also add, I recommend this person for funding in your program. Any resource you have to support this person, please give them. They deserve it. They deserve the money. They deserve, every package you have, because they are going to be successful and do well. Those statements are powerful, and when you put them in your letter, they know that the letter that they are reading, the person has no reservations about you, no questions whatsoever about your ability to do well in the program. You also want your letter to be directly related to what you're applying for, right? Now, this process is not easy. Like, let's be honest, it's not easy. You're looking for people to write you letters, right? Sometimes the application cycle is not successful, so you have to apply again the next year, and then you have to see if those people, will be willing to change things in your letter for different schools or for different programs, or like tweak it here, change it there, especially if you're applying to different programs that are related to what you're studying or what you studied in your bachelor's, for example, but they are not specific in what they are. So every letter has to include some tweaks here and there. Maybe this one is community health, maybe the other one is public health education, and then you're weary of going back and forth to those people. I get it. There are ways that you can create templates, right, that will support this. But what you don't want to do is have a letter that was meant to go to Lokoja. You're not sending that letter to Winie. It happens. You open a recommendation letter and they say, to whom it may concern, I am recommending this person for admission into University of South Florida. And the people reading it are from New York University. No good. So make sure that those letters are directly related to who you are applying to and what you are applying to. That if you are remixing and recombining letters, that you're careful to make sure that you didn't forget that you stated the university's name in the middle, or your recommender stated the university's name in the middle, but then you only change the up and the bottom, and then there's one in the middle that is hiding somewhere. You want to be very careful, because if you get a letter like that, or if an admission committee gets a letter like that, they may not be that kind to look on it favorably. So another quality of a strong recommendation letter is, signatures. Like, when possible, I ask people to get actual pen signatures, right? It makes it more official. And then scan that letter and include in your application, or have your recommender scan the letter and send it to the school as appropriate, right? Make sure it states their title, where they work, what their role is, what they're doing, right? You want that letter to end with that. Another thing you want included in your letter is a logo or a letterhead, something that makes it official. If that person works in the school, you want that letter to be on the university's local head, on the university's letterhead. I said local head here, should be seen. On the university's letterhead, you want that letter to be on the company's letterhead or with the company's logo. It makes the letter more official and it makes it more credible. I hope you have learned something from this video. It is your turn to talk to me. Tell me the things that you gained. Tell me the things that you're taking away. Tell me mistakes you've made in the past and what you'll be doing differently moving forward. We are a community here. Nobody owns, nobody has a monopoly over knowledge. We want to learn from each other. All right. Until I come your way again, do not forget to click like and subscribe if you liked this video. Do not forget to follow us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Find us, we are there, and come have fun with the tribe. Until I come your way again, my name is Winie, and I will see you again soon.